And start. Alright. Let's get this going. We're gonna start on the moon. And this is, I should have already explained it, but this is, and is going to be, a... Oh, that started me a lot lower than I thought it would. I thought before it started you in orbit. Okay. I should have already mentioned it, but this is going to be a fully vanilla playthrough. Or a fully vanilla Let's Play. I'm still not sure what to call it. But the idea being, there are no mods. I'm not doing... There's no custom options going on. The only caveat, right? I haven't changed any of the inventory sizes. I haven't changed the way the welders work, grinders work, refinery speed, assembler speed. I haven't changed any of that. It's all default. The only caveat, and the only thing that I have changed... Oh, that's... I was in... This thing is sluggish. I was in a valley. Okay. Let me just stop here and... So that way I can talk and think. The only thing that I have done... The only thing that I have done is I have enabled scripts, because there are some scripts that I really, really like, and I see them as quality of life improvements, and I kind of can't play without them at this point. I can play without mods. That's not a problem. But when it comes to my scripts, there are certain scripts that I have to have them. I can't not use them. They just make the game easier, they make the game more fun, they take away a lot of the tedium, which makes this game sort of not fun. I guess that would be the word. But anyway, the entire idea behind what I'm doing, is this playthrough is going to be essentially a state of the game 2025 in the lead up to Space Engineers 2. So the whole idea, right, is this... I'm recording this 7 days out from the launch of the game. And the idea is I'm going to try to do 14 episodes, or 10 to 14 episodes, 12. We'll settle on 12. 12 to 14 episodes. One recorded episode and one streamed episode. So episodes 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 12 will all be streamed. You will only be able to catch those episodes on my Twitch channel. That's the only place you're going to find them. You're not going to find them on YouTube, because I will not be taking the VODs from them. I will not be taking the VODs from those videos and posting them to YouTube. Those videos are you're only going to be able to catch them on Twitch when they are live streamed. I will have all of the information about the time and the schedule leading up to it in the description below. Now, first thing is first, we need to find the ice caps. We need to get to the ice so we can get set up with oxygen and all of that, because that is going to be, at the beginning, our primary source of both power and air. And I don't see them, which means we spawned pretty far away from them, which is not good. It's going to take us a while to get there and get set up with that rover. I picked the moon, and I like starting on the moon typically because it's a little more challenging, I want to say. A little more challenging than starting on the Earth-like, right? You don't have any oxygen, you don't have any atmosphere. The only thing you have is the ice and the materials you can find on the moon. That's it. So you've kind of got to get started, and get started fast. And there is the ice, so I was kind of right. It is sort of away from the Earth-like. So let's get to a good spot here, as close as we can get to our rover, and then we can lay down a coordinate. And then we can yeet ourselves back to our little rover and start driving back up this way. I would take some ice with us, but it's already got some in it, and there's no point in weighing it down. It's just going to slow us down and make the journey take longer, and that's not what we want. Good. Alright, now, get back to our pod. If you guys have been following my YouTube channel or my Twitch for any amount of time, you'll know that Space Engineers is like the game. Is the game that I have always played, I've always come back to, I've always loved it. And it was the first game that I played on YouTube. It was the first game that I played on Twitch. That is a... Ooh, that is a cliff. I don't like that. We're gonna avoid that. Yeah, I've always loved it. I've always enjoyed this game. I've spent, God, how many hours have I spent in this game? According to Steam, 2,100 hours, but I've also played it on the Xbox for probably about 500 hours. So I put almost 2,600 hours of my life into this game. I haven't done any modding. I haven't done anything like that. I don't have any of a workshop presence on this game, really. And my channel and my Twitch are relatively tiny. But the whole idea behind me doing this little video series, as we're leading up to the release of Space Engineers 2, is like I'd already said. It is sort of a state of the game. This is what the game is, in its purest form. No mods, nothing, except for scripts, because I can't live without them, man. I gotta have... Some of them are just too good. That's a cliff. God fucking... moon. Like, this is what the game is. This is what the game has become after 10... No. It's that... I don't like that. The game was released in 2013, I believe. I'll edit that and post if I have to, but I believe it was released in 2013. That's about the time when I launched my YouTube channel and did my first survival series on this game with Imee and Arrow and a lot of the guys from the Junkies. And that is another cliff. No, it's not a cliff. Okay. And that lasted for a little while. Of course, I was still in... I think I was still in high school at the time, or I was just starting my first job. And that was sort of the catalyst for this whole thing. The whole YouTube, the whole Twitch, everything. That was the jumping off point. Like, this is what I want to do, this is what I love doing. And I thought that this game was going to get me there. And then life got in the way and all that, and it's sort of been back and forth, on and off, over the last 10 years. But this video series is sort of an ode to what the game has become. Nee. Oh, well, hold on. Does that have fuel? Yes. Although it is on thrust override, so... this could be a mistake. Yeah, this could very well be a mistake. We will see if we can make this work. But I need to get out of this terrain. I need to get to more stable ground. That just was not going to cut it. Okay. Alright, that worked. That worked really well. Now that I'm not flying, and I'm back to driving, hopefully on better terrain as we go forward. Where was I? I don't have a script. So this is all just me. If I'm rambling, I'm sorry. But this is an ode to the game, an ode to Keen Software House for the development of their game, and an ode to my channel, an ode to Ectosage, the inspiration behind my channel, the inspiration behind me wanting to make a YouTube channel in 2013, an ode to my Twitch, and everyone who inspired me to go that route, to make a Twitch channel, to make a YouTube channel, just everyone who has been my inspiration, my push, my drive to do this kind of thing. I thank you and I appreciate you. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have this little hobby, and I wouldn't have this little hobby that I'm trying to slowly push towards actually being my job, right? Because we're gonna fly again. Not that I want it to be my job, right? Just I'd like to, I don't know. I'd like to be able to do something like this. I don't think that I'll be good at it. I don't think that I'm gonna really make it anywhere with it, but I'm gonna try, right? And that's the whole idea. That's the whole thing. No, like, as long as you try, as long as you push yourself to do the best that you can with everything, and even if you fail, you just pick yourself up and keep going. That's all that matters at the end of the day, right? That's all that there is to life. That's all that there is. As long as you give everything your best, you do everything that you can in order to succeed and to push yourself towards succeeding, that's all that really matters. And you learn from your lessons when you fall and you fail and you make mistakes. And that you make mistakes. Because if you don't make mistakes, what do you learn from? You don't learn. You've got to fail in order to pick yourself back up. And that is one of the other things that I love about this game. It's not... Oh, something just loaded in. That just about crashed. Huh. I wonder what that is. But we won't find out for a while. And back to this crap. Oh, yeah. One of the reasons I hate the moon. We're just gonna float all the way across this. Hopefully I have enough hydrogen. I have no idea. If we fall and we explode, we fall and we explode, and there's our first failure. And that takes me back to what I was just talking about. You have to fail in order to learn to succeed. You have to make mistakes in order to learn to pick yourself back up and keep going. And that's one of the beautiful things that I love about this game, is it teaches you to learn from your mistakes. It teaches you to grow. It teaches you that mistakes are not the end, although sometimes they very much can be. Right? You can make a mistake in this game that can put you right back to square one. Like, you can be flying a spaceship towards your base. Everything can be going just fine. Everything's hunky-dory. There's nothing wrong. Everything's going the way that it should be. And you make the mistake of not decelerating in time. And then you don't stop. you don't. Or you don't stop in time, or you're still going too quick, but you're not going devastatingly fast, right? And you just crash. And if you've made your ship your entire base, well, you just wrecked your whole base. That's it. Or if you, like what happened in one of my playthroughs with friends of mine from Bastogne, I believe, Joe was coming in from orbit in his ship towards our base, and he'd had a couple of drinks, which made it all the funnier. But he did not start decelerating in time. He'd just gotten back from a mining trip, so his ship was a lot heavier than he had potentially intended. And he did not hit the brakes at the right time and plummeted straight into the base. And there was not a whole lot left. There was a good bit, right? We weren't starting from the ground up, but that's the kind of mistakes that you can make in this game. That's what they can do. They can set you back to the point that you're basically restarting. And that's one of the reasons I love this game, because you have the challenge of being able to make those kind of mistakes that can be so devastating that you have to start over, or that you're basically starting over. And unless you play this game in a PvP kind of mindset, which I don't. I hate PvP. I don't like the stress that it creates, and it's never been really entertaining to me, so it's not something I've sought. But for a single player experience, those are the kind of mistakes that can be like, that's it. I'm putting this game down for a couple of weeks, and I'm not picking it back up again. But those are the kind of mistakes that I enjoy. And that's part of the reason why I really enjoy this game, because you can do that. And it's really easy to just not pay attention. Like, at any one of those points back there, and I was taking a massive risk by doing it, but any one of those points back there flying could have been the end. And then this could have been a very, very short recording, because I'd have had to go back and start over. And I took all the risk. I have no idea how much ice I have on board. I have no idea how much fuel I have. I said, screw it, we're going to do it. And had I crashed, had I wrecked, I would have picked up from there and tried to continue forward. Because that's the fun for me. That's why I love this game. The intrinsic entertainment in the game for me is problem solving. It's Space Engineers. The idea is to solve problems. And unfortunately, the basic survival aspect of this game is quite literally two things. You need power, and you need oxygen. Once you have secured both, you've beaten the survival aspect of the game. That's it. You've won. Game over. You don't need to do anything else. Except it doesn't stop there. If you want it to, yeah, that's it. You've won. Right? Same deal in Minecraft. The only thing you have to do in Minecraft is have shelter, so when nighttime comes, you don't get wrecked by the bad guys. Like, a creeper doesn't show up and kill you, a skeleton doesn't show up and you're dead. You know, you don't have to worry about any of that in this. It's just food. Or it's just food. It's just electricity and oxygen, and that's it. That's all you need. Minecraft, you need food, you need shelter, and once you have both of those, that's it. You've beaten the game, essentially. Now, you can go further. You can go kill the Ender Dragon, yeah. In this, you don't have something like that up until recently when they came out with the Contact update. Now you've got in-game content, so to speak. You've got, like, what did they call them? I can't remember the name of them. Prototech. You've got Prototech equipment that you can get now, but you have to salvage it, right? You have to go to the stations, you have to go to the places where it is, find it first of all, secure it, because those places are crawling with danger, and they are rather difficult points of interest to combat. Yes, ore detector, I know, that's ice. That's what I was looking for. Those are rather difficult things to fight because they are so well armed. And then they added another challenge to it, right? Where you cannot grind down the Prototech equipment. You can't take them apart. Once you take them apart, they're done. They're useless. They're trash. You've ruined them. And that's sort of the challenge behind that. Where you have to not only get there, find them, first of all, secure it, which means destroying all of the dangerous blocks, the guns, the ships that can be sent to kill you. And then you have to extract. So you have to secure the facility, make it yours, basically, and then surgically remove the component you're looking to get, and then take it home. Which adds a whole new intrinsic value of the engineering aspect to the game. But that's just the one thing. That's the only in-game engineering feature. That's the only thing that you have to solve, that the game gives you to solve. Everything else is open sandbox. Everything else is whatever you want to do. And that's the beauty of this game. That's why I love this game so much. Because it forces you to think. It forces you to teach yourself how to do things, how to problem solve, how to think and develop yourself and your vehicles in order to really progress and build a station and bases and vehicles that will get you to your goal of either surviving or now to your goal of going and getting prototech equipment to make surviving easier, to make bigger, better ships, stronger ships. Really, whatever you want to do, which is the beauty of a survival sandbox game. Now, I know that's probably pretty loud, so I will probably end up just skipping through a lot of this, because I'm just going to get some ice, and I'm going to get some regular gravel, because I need to get iron up and going, because I need to get a base going. But now that I have ice, it doesn't matter when the sun goes down, because the goal is to eventually get a hydrogen engine up. Provided I did not turn on progression. Thank God I didn't turn on progression. All right.
Inventory full.
Okay, so there's a full inventory of stone. Let's get that in our survival kit. Yep, that's all it can take. And let's get some gravel going. So... go ahead and queue up all of that. And unfortunately, the efficiency is also standard, so it's going to eat through material very quickly. So it's going to be a lot of me getting material refining, as we get started. Maybe a small drill head added to my rover. And then I don't need to come out here and do this by hand. I can just drive around and collect material, which is kind of the idea. At least getting started, that'll make things a little faster and a little easier. So I think that's what we're going to try to go for. And then I don't have to worry about building a base right away. All I have to do is worry about maintaining a stockpile of ice and just drilling stone as I need it so I can slowly build up a base. So let's go to tools. Where are they? Oh, they're in here somewhere. It's been so long since I've seen the default menu, I can't remember where anything is anymore. Where? Where have they gone? I don't have Oh no. Oh no, that's not... Look, I know how to play the game well enough. I don't need this turned on. We're gonna turn that off. Let me fix that real quick. Save. Exit. Come on. There we go. Goodbye, ice. So, now, I should be able to see everything. Yes. Okay, that explains why I couldn't find it, because it wasn't there. Yeah, and that's what progression does. Progression hides the blocks in the menu, so you have to unlock them, pretty much. Which is sort of how they do a tutorial of ways. Personally, I don't like it, because I think it limits the creativity that you can have when it comes to problem solving at the beginning of the game, when you're just trying to figure things out and get to the point where your you're stable, and everything's running fine. Let's see what else this is going to need. The rest of those plates. 25 construction components. Let's go ahead and get those queued up, and then 4 steel tubes. Which I can't make. I'll have to steal those from something. Probably these guys. Which is good, because then we don't have to make the motors. And I can't use these anyway, because I'm on the moon and there's no atmosphere. But I don't want to grind them down completely, because I'm going to use them for essentially parts storage. Because my inventory space is currently limited. So, yeah, there we go. And then there's our plates. And there we go, that's done. Alright, I should have thought about that sooner. That'll be fine. We no longer need to do any of that. We've got some steel plates building. Hey, scooter boy. Let's get foundations of a place to call home. Let's get that set up. Right over there seems perfect. It's a little out of the way from the ice field, but that is fine. I do not mind that. That's nice and clear, good approach. If we decide that we want to go to space, take that with us. And a good place to test rocket designs and that kind of stuff, which is something else that I want to do in this playthrough. I've always wanted to build a rocket silo. I've always wanted to build multi-stage rockets. Now, I'm not using any mods, but if there was one that I would use specifically for the intent of, like, a heavily modded playthrough, I would be using the Real Orbits mod. Because that would allow me to make orbiting space stations and really, really, like, in-depth rockets. Like, it basically turns space engineers... Not basically, right? Because you don't have... You don't have maneuver nodes. You don't have to worry about orbital transfers, delta V, any of that. You don't have to worry about it. That's not something that's in-depth in this game. But if you want to, you can sort of engineer it into existence, per se. Which... Ooh, there's silver and gold right there. That's nice. I like that. Okay. But it adds the ability to orbit. It adds the ability to build orbital space stations. It adds the ability for you to engineer and create multi-stage rockets if you want. It doesn't turn the game into KSP, but it makes it like KSP light, which, for someone like me who likes those kind of games, who really enjoys an engineering challenge, it makes it fun, more enjoyable, more in-depth, more tinkery, and that's why I love these kind of games, like Space Engineers and Kerbal Space Program, Stationeers, hopefully eventually Kitten Space Agency, because I've been hearing and seeing so much about it, even though it's nowhere near ready. It's just sort of like early stage. Like, here's what we've got. We've got the technical aspect of it, and that's about it, which is fine. Please, for the love of God, guys, take your time with it. Enjoy it. Have fun building it. Do not get lost in the, we've got to make it pretty. We've got to make it beautiful. It's got to, it could be pixels for all I care. I don't care how pretty the game is. I want I want a functional successor to Kerbal Space Program. Without all the bugs, but with new features, fancy new things. I don't care if it looks good. It could be Minecraft texture. It could be 8-bit resolution. I wouldn't care. I just want the spiritual successor to my second favorite game. I'm rambling. Let's stop rambling. Let's get back to this. So we're in the valley now. And this looks like an ideal spot to have a base, right? Because we've got plenty of clearance. There's nothing that we could smack into if we wanted to come in from orbit with, like, say, a space plane, or if I wanted to launch off rockets, right? If I want to bring them home, I don't have to worry too much about where they're going to come down. They're going to come down either on the base or off the base. They're not going to hit a mountain, explode, and roll down. So this is ideal. This is where we want to be. If this was a PvP game, or if I was, like, in a multiplayer, this would not be where I want to build. So we're just going to lay out, like, a little platform here. I don't need to weld any of this up. I don't need to worry about that right now. I just need to get a platform so I can get batteries, H2O2 converter thingy, I forgot what it's actually called, H2O2 generator, and a hydrogen engine built. And then we can start worrying about processing, power storage, power generation, and then we can eventually get our drilling arm up and running, and then we will be good. It will be where we want to be, and then the technical side of things can actually start happening, and I can really start playing the game. And again, the whole idea of this playthrough is not, I want to beat the game, I want to get prototech, I want to do all the fun, fancy things, raid bases. I just want to see how far I can get before the release of KSP2 in 7 days across 12 or 12 videos, right? So we're going to have this first video, which is going to be on YouTube. I need more stone. And then the second episode is going to be Twitch only. And then episode 3... Episode 3 will be recorded, and 4 will be streamed on Twitch. So all of the even episodes will be streamed. You'll be able to catch those live, and they will not be recorded. They will not be... I will not be downloading the VODs. They're going to be on Twitch, and on Twitch only, and if you catch it on Twitch, great, you get to see it. And if not, that's it. It's gone. You're not going to see it. Only the odd episodes. Episodes like this one, you're going to find on my YouTube channel. So, hopefully, y'all will stick around. Y'all will enjoy it. It'll be entertaining. It'll be fun. We'll get to see what space engineers in the year 2025, 12 years after its initial alpha release, what this game looks like, what Keen Software House has done with it, what it has turned out to be, the beauty that is this game in its purest, most simple form with no mods, default settings, except scripts. That's the only caveat. I have to have the scripts. They're just too nice to not have. But y'all will get to see what this game looks like 12 years after its initial alpha release. With, I say at the time of recording, 7 days, right? This one I'm recording 7 days away. The stream will be tomorrow, and then episode 3 will be recorded tomorrow as well. So essentially, when you guys see this, it'll be 6 days away from release. You get to see what this game is 12 years later and 6 days away from its release of its sequel. And then we get to play the sequel. And that I'm looking forward to. Now, unfortunately, there's no survival right out the gate in the sequel. That's going to be one of the vertical slice updates, so this series will continue to go until I either screw up so catastrophically terrible that continuing is just going to be a chore, and that I'm stuck now. Come on. No, I don't have a gyro. Do I? Do. Alright, and that's kind of what I was talking about when I was saying earlier that our drill can sort of dig down more than we want. It can dig into the terrain, and we can end up getting stuck. And not good. Not good. We don't want to do that. We don't want that to happen. Because this is currently our bread and butter. This is where all of our supplies and resources are coming from, and we don't want to lose this. Because if we lose this, we are boned. We are screwed. Tickling full. Just drive this back over to the base. Hopefully not rip the drill off in the process. Again, that would be terrible, and once I get to the point where I can make a hinge, which won't be until I get the base situated and actually up and running, because that's my primary focus right now. Once I can get to the point where I can make a hinge, I can travel faster with this thing, because I won't be having to worry about scraping the drill across the ground when I go across terrain. I'll be able to actually lift it up and out of the way. Because at this point, if I blow that thing up, again, that's game over. We've got to restart, because we will not have the resources to replace it. I'm just going to leave this down here. Going up there is going to be a bad idea. Right now, I can't afford to make mistakes, so it's better to play it safe. Another unknown signal, huh? Gonna have to go check these out eventually, see what everything is. Might be able to salvage some crap off of everything. Put ourselves in a good position. I don't want that data pad actually. Go back and... You won't, will you? No, because you've transferred stone in there from the drill. That's what we wanted you to do. Don't. Stop it. Stop. Stop it. Fine. Fuck you. I'll just hold on to it for now. Okay. Get that welded up as best we can. We still need some more plates, motors, and computers, but we're getting close to having that be done. And then... Oh, I forgot one very important component on this little cluster of stuff, didn't I? Yes, I did. Rip that out of there. That doesn't need to be there. We need... that bad boy. Number 6. Need no 2H2 generator. Without that, our everything over here is pretty much worthless. We'll put the oxygen tank... I think I've already got one. I think that's a hydrogen. Cool. We'll put... Where'd they go? Put the oxygen tanks there. And then we'll put the survival kit here for now. And then the batteries, for now, we can just shove into the floor. We shouldn't need a crap ton, at least getting started, but that'll be good for auxiliary power in the long run. So we need to get this guy up and running, get that out of the way until we're ready to roll with it. We're going to need this temporarily. We could just run it off generator. But for now, only need what we can get a hold of. Okay. So we're out of stone again. We're filling up heavily on gravel. We can dump a lot of that. This stuff really has no use, aside from, I think reactors are the only thing that use it. And once you get a reactor up and going, that's it. You don't need gravel really anymore, so it's best to just throw it away, otherwise it just continues to build up, and then you have too much, and it's just sitting around being useless. Okay, so we're gonna need more steel plates. Not a whole lot more. We're gonna need computers and displays. To get this up and running, we're going to need large tubes, which we can't build until we get that up and going. Yeah, large tubes, small tubes, power cells. Okay, we need a lot of stuff that we can't build with our rover here. But we can build some more computers, some displays. That should at least get us going for a little bit here. I'm gonna need to go get more stone here in a minute, too. We need 76 computers. Alright, let's queue those up. That way they can just go ahead and start producing. We're also going to need a few more steel plates. That is going to need computers, tons of steel plates. Yeah, we're a little ways out. It's fine. All good, we'll get there. It's just going to be slow. Just going to be slow. But we'll let this build up for right now, so we're using up a lot of our material. Go ahead and get rid of the rest of that gravel. We don't need it. Like I said, it's just going to eat space. And we don't have the space. For wasted space. We got to kind of be particular about everything we're holding on to. We really don't have the room for excess at the moment. Okay, basic assembler and refinery done. We got to get power generation up and running, which means we've got to get this generator up. We're going to need more steel plate, 2 large tubes. Can I make a power cell from this? Negative. Alright, so I'm going to need to get a solar panel up and running first so I can make power cells, because these will get charged to 25% once you give them some power, which is kind of what we want, unless Unless I'm cheeky about it. If I could set up a connector, like say we take this conveyor belt here, clear that out, clear that out. We go with conveyor junction there, actually, I think is gonna be good. Or we just switch to an inset connector and reduce the block count and requirement. Maybe a better idea. Does that have at least a 4-way connection all the way across? No, it's only got 2 corners. So that's not ideal, is it? Yeah. That's not ideal. But it'll work, and it'll do what we need it to do for now. And then we can switch it out. So what we'll do, we'll rip this guy out, because we want to get a hydrogen tank in here. Right, we have our little boat there that's got oxygen tanks on it, we'll be fine. We need to get a hydrogen tank in here. And that's where it connects. So we've got that will power this. And we'll be able to transfer ice from that to this. So that'll get us a jump start in the beginning.
Energy low.
Which is where we want to be. So for that, I'm gonna need steel plates, construction component. Yeah, I can build everything for this and the engine, I believe. No. No. I can't build the engine, but that'll power it and allow me to run those, so that'll be fine. Yeah, that'll be alright. We just gotta get a connector on the back of this. Hopefully it'll be able to reach. Because if not, we're gonna be in a bit of a problem. A little bit of a pickle. I may be over-engineering the solution to my problem, but that's the fun part. Get some construction components queued. Small tubes, motors. Oh, I can't make small tubes. Okay, well, scrap this idea. Thought I could make small tubes. That's not gonna work then. Alright, back to the original plan. Just go ahead and throw a junction in there. Get our oxygen tank in there. Yeah. Alright. Alright, so we gotta build a solar panel. That's gonna have to be our source of power. Which I think I'd stuck in here somewhere, yes. We are going to need this guy. And I think the sun... I can't tell. And it's down, so that's not going to do us any good. We'll just stick these here and call it. Call it what it is. Call it good. Well, we've got some plates here. Let's go get these ramps built. So we can start getting our solar panels installed. I'm just going to do them all the way across this. This base is going to end up being a temporary structure for us. Eventually we'll move away from it and go to something more elaborate, much larger, much cooler than just a square platform on the ground on the moon, out exposed to the elements. But for now, we need our basic little setup here in order to get us going and headed in a direction we want to be moving in. Now, again, we've got just about everything we need. Except we're going to have to wait for the sun to come up, which is still, I'd say, about another 30 minutes away by the looks of things. Because it is on a default 2-hour solar cycle. Which we won't really be able to do anything with this until the sun comes up, because we can't make tubes. And we can't plug this thing into the base until we get tubes. I think it was 32. Did it need... I think it needed just 32, which is an odd number. I don't know why. You would just need that many. We're also going to need some girders. Let's get these built before we run out of stone. Yep, that looks like a good order to me. We'll do the construction components first. So I know we're going to end up running out of stuff for that. Computers. Gonna need those too. Get those queued up. Unfortunately, at the very beginning of this game is always slow. You're dredging through stone constantly, just trying to get enough material to actually get yourself to the point where you can do automation and you can actually step back away from it. Well, automation to a point, but you're dredging through stone, sifting through gravel, as it were, trying to find the gold mine. Just being able to get to the point where you can step away from having to actually go out and get material, and you can it's there. You don't have to worry about it, which is sort of going to be our goal. One of our short-term goals, at least. Because once we get power, and once we're able to utilize our basic refinery and our basic assembler, we'll be pretty much set. Because once those are up and running, we can get power cells for our batteries here. Once those are up, we can store the solar power. And we've really only got 2 hours of sunlight once the sun comes up to get to that point, which we've got to rush. But once these are up, we'll definitely be able to take advantage of our refinery and our assembler, get everything that we need to make our large hydrogen oxygen generator, both of our tanks, our survival kit. Once we strip it out of that one, we should have the med kits to make this. And then we can make our hydrogen engine, and once we have that built, we're done. We don't need to worry about solar. It's just an extra backup in case we don't have enough hydrogen on hand, or in case we want to turn it off during the daytime, which we'll be able to do with some simple commands with programming and sensor blocks and all that kind of jazz. So we won't really have to worry about that too much, but it is something that we can do moving forward if we want to make our base efficient. And now that this is done, actually let's just go ahead and build a second one, because I know we're going to need the power and we've got the time and the resources on hand currently to do it. Yeah, we've got the time. The sun won't be up for a little bit. I should have seen what I needed. What did that take? I'm gonna need 4 more girders, 5 more girders, 4 computers, and still 32 solar cells. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 4 girders. Was that the computers I needed more of? Yeah, 4 computers and then 5 girders. Computers, silly. Okay. Hopefully we've got all the material on board to be able to do that, and I don't have to actually go out and mine more Although, from the looks of it, I might have to. Okay, we'll just let that do its thing for a second. We're gonna need to get more stone as well, now that I think about it. Although this is almost done with its queue. Yeah, we'll just give this a second, and I'll get that solar panel built up, so if the sun does come up while I'm out filling this thing with more material, we'll be good and happy and on our way to having some positive power. So that'll be fine. Alright, I'm gonna go get some more material while the sun comes up, and then once the sun comes up, we're gonna be good to boogie. See y'all in a few minutes. Yeah, that's another full load of stone. The sun, by the looks of it, is just a few minutes from peeking over the horizon. Let's get this thing back to our facility here and start unloading some of this rock into our refinery, because we want that to process it, not this thing. That thing will be more efficient at it, faster. It'll extract more material per amount of input ore, and that is what we want. And it can hold more. Yeah, it can hold a lot more than this thing. We're going to shut down the production on this, because I just want to be able to take raw material and utilize it at this point. Again, that's the other thing I'm saying, like, look at how much gravel I've gotten out of this. I cannot use this. This is practically just wasted material. Now, in the past, you could use it, and it was actually kind of funny what you could use it for. Oh, I didn't drop that. Come on, let go. Go away. It was actually kind of funny what you could use it for, because what you would do is you would take multiple thousands of kilograms of gravel, and you would fill a cargo container with just gravel. And you, you would put warheads behind it. And then that would be your missiles. That's what you would use. People typically called them like shotgun missiles, or fragmentation missiles is a more accurate description for what they are. But you'd put a sensor in front of the cargo container and set it so when it would detect an enemy grid, it would detonate the warheads, which would destroy the cargo container. And in doing so, it would release all of these little clumps of gravel chunks, because there could only be so many in a pile. And then those individual chunks of gravel, because at that time they had collision with grids, and the collision with grids would cause damage. Now they still have collision, but they don't do damage anymore. So you can't do this. It's not a thing anymore as far as I am aware. But you would fill cargo containers with crap that you can't use it anymore. But that was one of the uses for gravel. You'd fill a cargo container with it, put it on a missile, launch it into an enemy grid. When it detected the grid, it would detonate the warheads, which would spew all of these little chunks of shrapnel gravel at the grid. And it would do so much damage, because the gravel wouldn't get destroyed. It would just hang around until it despawned. But the longer it hung around, the more it bounced around. The faster the grid was going, the more it bounced around. So if you found, like, one of the cargo ships that are flying around, and you wanted to take it, you wanted to do as much damage to it as possible before you even got to it, right? Because your whole goal is like, I'm going to grab this thing and I'm going to go recycle it. You'd fill the cargo container with shit, just gravel to the brim, launch these missiles at it, and then you'd go and just pick it up. Because at that point, it would be trash. It would be useless. Those things would do so much damage to grids. It was crazy. Which I think is part of the reason why they disabled it. But people used to use it in PvP. And again, the same thing. If you were going to try and do as much damage to somebody's base or their ship as possible, like their large grid stuff, that's what you would use. So, they got rid of one of the uses for gravel. I know it still exists, so it's obviously used in construction of something, and I think that thing is just just reactors at this point, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what else it would be used for off the top of my head, but we can take a look if we go into the menu here. No, reactors don't even use gravel. What the hell is gravel used for? Is it used for reactor components, maybe? Oh, it's used for data pads. That's one of the things it's used for. I won't really be able to tell until I get a larger assembler built. I'll have to keep that on my mind, because I don't know. Yeah, I thought reactor components took it. Apparently they don't. I wonder when that changed. Or if it was ever a thing, now that I think about it. But we're slowly just waiting for the sun to come up at this point, filling this thing to the brim with stone, and we're going to have a ton on hand, because I don't want to have to go out here and get more. So we'll go fill this thing back up. By then, the sun should be just cresting the horizon. We should just be starting to get some power. That'll kick on our basic refinery. We'll actually start to get a ton of material out of it, and then we can really kickstart our survival process. Unfortunately, I'm just about out of time for this episode. And again, the way that this is going to work, I've got 7 days, 6 days for you guys when you see this released on YouTube tomorrow. 6 days to the release of Space Engineers 2. And I'm going to do one stream and one episode to my YouTube every day. The odd-numbered episodes will be on Twitch. The odd-numbered episodes will be on YouTube, and the even-numbered episodes will be on Twitch. You will not be able to see those episodes again. I'm not recording them. I'm not downloading the VODs. They're not going on my YouTube channel. They're not going on my YouTube VOD channel. They will be on Twitch and on Twitch only, and if you don't see them, they're gone. So if you want to catch those, the information for the time that they will be streamed will be in my in my description of this video, and every video during this playthrough, leading up until the release of Space Engineers 2. And that's it. That's all I've got time for. Actually, I've got a job interview to go to, so I'll see y'all tomorrow on the stream.